in Port Harcourt has issued an order restraining security agencies, including the police and the Department of State Services, from arresting the suspended Chief of Staff to the suspended Governor, Siminalayi FUBARA, Edison EHIE. ATN reports that the order was granted by Justice IPC EHIE in response to a motion filed by EHIE, who is the claimant in the case. Other defendants in the suit include the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the DSS, the State Director of DSS, and the Police Service Commission. Justice EHIE ruled that an interim injunction be issued, preventing the defendants or their agents from inviting, arresting, or detaining EHIE in connection with the alleged arson at the Rivers State House of Assembly, which occurred on March 29, 2023. These follow statements made on or around March 27, 2025 by the former head of service of Rivers State, George Weke, or any other individual. The court further instructed that the writ and accompanying processes be marked as a concurrent right for service outside the jurisdiction, specifically to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Additionally, the court ordered all parties involved to maintain the status quo until determination of the motion on notice for an interlocutory injunction. The judge directed that both parties maintain the status quo as of March 30, 2025 until the next hearing. The court also required the claimant EHIE to enter into a 2 million naira indemnity bond, promising to compensate the defendants should the substantive motion be ruled as frivolous. The judge adjourned the substantive case to April 30, 2025 for further consideration of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. This marks a temporary legal victory for EHIE as the legal proceedings continue. Chizzy, what do you make of this story?
You know, by the grace of God, I will never speak against the judiciary. I also understand that there are layers of court. Of course, this is the court of first instance, and I'm sure that this whole judgment can be appealed. And then I believe that the higher court will fight that. But what do you think about the morality behind that kind of judgment? That's what I just wanted to look at. You were saying that the police, like the executive arm of the government, shouldn't carry out their legitimate duty. That's what I say. That, and one of the law establishing the police is to investigate matters, is to look at issues. I invite suspects. What are you saying? Are you saying that, firstly, if he has said he hasn't done anything, or they have invited him and then he shouldn't go, what are you really telling Nigerians to do? For me, I think we should, I don't know why we can't, the NJC shouldn't look at the judicial, especially in Rivers State. Why would a court give such ruling? That somebody should be arrested and somebody should be investigated, and so the person can do anything and then go scot-free because he has a court that he will go to. But I believe that the higher court will quash that judgment, because that judgment is neither here nor there. I don't know why our court in Rivers State is becoming undemocratic, I would say that, because they are not being unconstitutional. What are you saying? People shouldn't be invited, people shouldn't be investigated. As soon as you have what it takes to meet the judge, then nobody should investigate you. It doesn't matter what you have done. Even the court, are they saying that Rivers State should be the way it was, or what happened shouldn't be investigated? All of this is alleged. Then go to them, let them investigate it. If you are investigated and said, okay, he's not finding one thing and the police wants to go extrajudicial, then you can go to the court. So why is he even running to the court in the first instance? To stop the police from carrying out their legitimate duty. I don't think the police should heed to that.
Well, this is not the first time, actually, that the court is restraining the police from arresting Edison EHIE. Recall sometime in January 2024, the Rivers State High Court, by Justice Sika Aprioku, also issued an ex parte order, barring the police from arresting Edison EHIE. And it is also in direct link to the Rivers State House of Assembly arson. Just like this matter again is based on the Rivers State House of Assembly arson. This is not the first time. A court last year, January precisely, Justice Sika Aprioku issued a restraining order, even though it was later vacated by a federal high court sitting in FC in Abuja. The court of Justice Emeka Wite vacated that order. Sometime again in February of 2024, Justice Sika Aprioku further extended that order, that restraining order. So after Justice Emeka Wite of Federal High Court in Abuja, right, vacated that order and gave an order. No, let me not use the word vacate. After Justice Emeka Wite, gave order for the arrest of Edison EHIE, an order. It wasn't just Edison EHIE. There were 5 other persons. I think Rambo was one of them. Bako was one of them as well. So Justice Sika Aprioku still extended much later in February, a month after. And now we are here again. Now the question would be, even after Justice Emeka Wite gave order for the arrest of Edison EHIE, why didn't the police arrest him at that time?
Sometimes, last week or so, 2 weeks ago, I was here, with one of your colleagues. And I told them that this is what people don't understand. When they said all of the appointees should leave government, I was trying to draw them to an attention to something. That, look, I understand the powers of governor that he enjoys around his immunity. That means that, for instance, in Nigeria, if you go to government house where FUBARA was still holding sway, and then arrest EHIE, they will say no, that you are harassing the governor. Right now, the police would have just allowed. So what they did was to hide EHIE in his place. That's why I said.
Are you saying that EHIE becoming chief of staff was directly linked to protecting him under?
It was just. It is not. That is what it meant. They were just hiding him there because in the first instance he hasn't resigned to a legitimate house. He was still a member of the House of Assembly, so he couldn't have been chief of staff. They just brought him there to hide him. The same way they are hiding everybody who has committed one thing or the other. I have said it here severally. Right now, what the police should do, because you see, when you give a ruling that is not within your jurisdiction to so do, that ruling does not stand. I mean, there's no reason why a court will come and say, don't investigate somebody, don't prosecute somebody. And this is somebody that will be investigated and prosecuted and be brought to court by the same police. If you are saying bring the man to court, that's another different thing. Or bear the man and bring him to court. You are saying no, they shouldn't even carry out their legitimate duty, their constitutional duty. That means that the court is saying the executive shouldn't function. Because the police is an extension of the executive. You are just saying they shouldn't. And you can't do that. No arm of government can stop the operation of the other arm of government. It can't happen. Now, a legislative arm of Rivers State, declare this guy wanted. I mean, ask that the police should declare him wanted. And the court is saying no, they should be investigated. What court is that? That was why I was saying that even the Martins the Martins and the speaker, Martin as he was then called, the suspended speaker now, I said that he was a weakling for me, because even the court, that same court, since a judiciary is trying to undermine our powers, I will instigate or incident an investigation, a probe on the judiciary. What kind of nonsense is that? We can't continue to be like this. I mean, somebody is asked, you are not, if you are coming here to say no, that investigation, the guy didn't do it or not. In our constitution, it is alleged. You are not a criminal until you are found guilty. So it means that all of this is just being alleged. And so it is the court that will prove whether that was right or not. And the police will start up by investigating. The court does not go to arrest somebody. So I am asking the IG or police that there is no court judgment as it takes, because you cannot put something on nothing. You can't put something on nothing. There is nothing. You can't ask.
It wasn't even a judgment. It was an order.
An order.
It was an order.
So you can't do that order, because you can't put something on nothing. I mean, you can't say that an arm of government shouldn't carry out their legislative function. It's like having their constitutional function. It's like having a legislature sitting and then a court will come and rule that the legislature shouldn't sit and their procedures shouldn't go. I mean, I don't know why we allowed all of this. What the court can do is to interrogate that process. Interrogate that process to know whether it is in line with the constitutional provision, not to stop the process.
Now, there are a lot of questions. The more I think about it, first, it was not the first time.
Yes.
This is not the first time this is happening in this instance, and then over a year down the line, fingers are still pointing. And what I find most interesting around this is that 4 members of the House were suspended on the basis of Rivers State House of Assembly arson. But it appears that 1 person is taking the blame. But 4 members were suspended during that plenary after the Rivers State House of Assembly did their investigation. The question I'm asking is, why is nobody talking about the other 3 members, Adolphus Timothy, Sokari Goodboy, and Victor Okojumbo? Why is nobody talking about these other 3?
You know, let me tell you, even in criminality, I haven't been one before. But I can tell you just the same thing, it happens, the same way it happens in a very progressive move. It also happens in the other violent move. There is just the first person, and as it is, if you look at the confession of the head of service, you will know that if those people were involved, it means that Edison himself recruited them. That's what it means. Edison was the one leading that led that decision as a person. And even the head of service had confirmed those rumors. That's what we said. Look, we know. What I'm saying is that the onus is on the police to do their work. I understand that sometimes within those periods, you know, the political situation and in fact the situation in River State was very tense. And so even the police was a little bit careful not to do certain things. But we can't continue to do that so that somebody, it will not become a precedent. That somebody will begin to do such things knowing that, oh, all you need is to make the place ungovernable and nobody will come and do something. People should be prosecuted, go to court, you know, arrest him. If he's found guilty, take him to prison. Nothing will happen. Let the due process be done. See, I tell people that naturally, human being naturally, you know, when people say that we are social animals and all of that, I can tell you that if you allow human being naturally will be wide, they will go and build on the main road. So the difference between our society and other society is the law. Is the fact that, not that we don't have the law, is the fact that the laws are carried out. People are punished for offense and people are pardoned for not done anything or discharged for not committing a crime. And so if you see somebody who has committed a crime and then you say, no, you can forget him, it was around those things, then that's not a good thing. So I think that the police should declare him wanted. As soon as the police does that now, some of us, if we see him, we'll catch him and then bring him to the police and arrest him. Now look at, if you see how political that's order.
I am going through this order again because I am reading in between the lines.
Now let me tell you what I wanted to say before you say that. Now if you look at that order, now when a court will sit down in River State and say, you know, that includes in FCT, you understand that order is very political.
Probably it's more like a kind of insulation against what happened in 2024 when Justice Sika Aprioku of River State High Court gave an ex parte order restraining the police from arresting Edison EHIE, and then Justice Emeka Wite in the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, FCT, gave an order to have Edison arrested by the police. So now you're saying that Justice, this judge, giving this order and then extending it outside River State and was specific about FCT.
He would have mentioned all the states in Nigeria.
So that makes it political.
It's very political, very political.
But then others can be gotten from any state.
What, mention their names? Why did you go to FCT first? Why did you have to mention FCT? When a judgment is given or an order is given, the order is around Nigeria, and is it going to also stop other courts from sitting if they want to sit? Is it going to stop the police from doing their legitimate duty if they want to? Even the man who is giving that judgment had a police orderly. He has a police orderly by himself. The man who gave the judgment, he's not telling the police not to carry other function.
Now, I want to read, you know, what is being said, because in that of Justice Sika Aprioku, in his ex parte order in 2024, Justice Sika Aprioku restrained the police from investigating, arresting, harassing, and detaining and arresting Edison EHIE. So, but in this order says that Justice Igwe ruled that an interim injunction be issued preventing the defendants or their agents from inviting, arresting, and detaining. So now, let's keep arresting and detaining on one side, but look at inviting. Now, Edison EHIE will not willingly walk into a police station to defend himself or say, okay, I am a person of interest in so and so matter, and I'm here to, you know, talk about what happened and give my own side of the story. So now, if he cannot be, what ordinarily should have happened is for the police to invite him to come for a conversation and questioning, of course. But in this instance, the police cannot invite him. And then, if police invites you and you do not obey that invitation, then an arrest will have to be enforced. And now, the police is banned from inviting Edison EHIE the police is banned from arresting him and also barred from detaining him, which means this order effectively restrains the police from investigating this matter. Because if Edison EHIE, according to allegations and according to the findings of Rivers State House of Assembly in 2023, if at the end of the day Edison EHIE is seen as the arrowhead in this investigation, and the court is shielding him in this instance, it means that this investigation cannot go further.
It also means that, no, it will go further. First of all, let me say that it also means that Edison has accepted that he did it. That's all it means.
Okay, his refusal to be investigated.
To be investigated means that, look, I did it. I know that if they investigate me, I'll be found wanting or culpable. That's what he's saying. Now, these are the same persons who are saying that they should investigate the confession of the head of service. And part of the confession is that Edison took money for this arson. And then he said they shouldn't investigate, so they should investigate the head of service and not investigate Edison. Now, when you talk about investigation, by his grace, you can also, I have a little bit knowledge about this investigation. I've worked in the Office of National Security Advisor. So I also understand that you can investigate the person without even inviting the person. So you're also asking the police not to carry out those functions. They shouldn't investigate him. They should. Do you know that the governor with his immunity can be investigated? Is that correct? Now, the governor with his immunity, so that in granting immunity to the office of the governor and even the president, they did not remove the investigation of the police. Now, it is Edison that the police should not carry out that function. So when they are restraining the police, they are not restraining the police. You see, some of us, when we begin to do things, all I would have done in the first instance now is to withdraw all police orderly from those judges. I will do it now as a police IG. And when they asked me, they said, you restrained us from carrying out functions. So those persons cannot also carry out functions. They help us in investigations. So you understand what it means to restrain the police. You know, people just come and give judgment. And because I don't know what the judiciary is doing, what the NJC is doing, they don't look at those orders and punish the judges for doing that. But the judges just give order and go scot-free from those kind of orders.
Now, this also, what you made a statement that, you know, triggered a memory of a conversation we had over time on Open Conversation, and that is in direct link to panel of inquiry.
Yes.
You recall that when the local government secretariats, you know, were vandalized in the aftermath of the tenure extension and, you know, the ousting of the then local government chairman, the governor instituted a panel of inquiry commission to inquire and investigate what happened and the persons that were culpable. And during that particular season of that panel of inquiry, on my show, I kept asking a question, and I was also making calls. I said I was asking a question, and I was saying, why the hastiness to, why that commission of inquiry, that judicial commission of inquiry, that panel of inquiry, one would say it is apt, going by a government property was destroyed. But then River State House of Assembly complex was bombed, you know, and when police went to investigate it, before that investigation could be concluded, it was demolished, part of it. Where that actual thing happened was demolished by the governor. And I kept asking, why is the governor not calling for a judicial panel of inquiry to investigate what happened to River State House of Assembly complex? And I recall that for a period of over 2 weeks, I kept making that call every day on Open Conversation. Now, with these allegations now coming to light by a very principal actor in River State politics, you know, under the governor, does this in any way indict, in your opinion, does this in any way indict both the governor in this instance and Edison EHIE and the other 3 House of Assembly members? Not forgetting that 5 young men are currently in prison over the bombing of River State House of Assembly. 5 men are in prison over that. And that's the men were also linked to the murder of the DPO, Bako Ambashin. So when we are looking at these things together, that particular River State arson case is linked to the murder of DPO Bako. So this issue is deeper than we know.
No, you see, when I was just following the issue as it comes. But let me tell you something. Like I said, the fact that Edison ran to the court to say, don't investigate me, don't invite me, don't prosecute me, don't jail me, means that he had accepted that he was one who had done it. And now let me tell you, a follow-up, that demolition follow-up was to cover up evidences. That is it. Because see, in the House of Assembly, you know, in the House of Assembly, it has happened. This is the second time it has happened. And I told people that they were covering evidence. In the House of Assembly, there are cameras. There are cameras that will take pictures and footage of the person who came. And no wonder the governor immediately, swiftly, went and demolished it. He knows. Now we know that he's the one who gave them the money to go and do that. So he knows that those footages are there. The assembly is sophisticated building that will house those things. If you go there, it will come up. The whole of the pictures of those things will come up. And so the only way they can now organize that debate, and immediately he demolished them and started building. So where will you see the camera and then they depose them and all of that? And so the governor himself was shielding him, was trying not to be visited or something, not to be found. I know that that's the reason for that demolition. If not, what happened? How couldn't he? Why didn't he demolish Ikwe local government that was bombed? Why didn't he demolish it? Now, why did he not also have done? Commissioned a commission of inquiry immediately, even for the politicals? If I was a person, and God forbid that I am that kind of person, that I would also have called a commission of inquiry that will bring up a report and maybe absolve Edison, since I wanted to save him. That would have been a smarter one, other than just going to demolish the place, now hiring the guy and not doing anything. And today they are running from one court to the other to stop the police from carrying out their process. I think they call the police. I'm telling the police that, you see, it is better to spare 1,000 innocent persons than to allow a criminal, because the criminal has a capacity of making other people. Look at, for instance, the kidnapping businesses and all of that. When the kidnapping started in our place, it was because those persons were living large that it attracted people. It wasn't kidnapping wild in the north. You remember that those people who are not kidnapping, they call the henchmen, were those who will drag cow from the north to the south, and they give them just one cow, to be reproducing for them, just one cow. That's what they will give them for more than thousands of cows. Why these guys held a gun and could take a human being and got 1 million and say, what am I doing with this cow? And they went on. Right. So if you don't do this, somebody will